Filling vacancies. First thing, let's ask, what's the name?
Edgar.
Edgar? If somebody were to tell you, give you notice that they're moving, what would you do next? Have the maintenance guy go ahead and inspect the place.
Right, because we're trying to do a quick turnaround.
Because you try to do a quick turnaround. All right, stop there. Edgar, what Edgar just shared is a typical response from a rental property owner. I'm going to suggest, though, that you change that mindset a little bit.
Okay.
Anytime somebody gives you notice, the first thing you should do is try to save that person if they've been a good resident. If they've been a good you say good luck with that? I don't know. I've had some luck with it. In other words.
No, I mean if they're a bad tenant.
Yeah, if they're a bad tenant, you don't. Yeah, I let them go. But if they're a good resident, I want to try to save them. For example, if you were at a restaurant and you asked the waiter for a check, what would a smart waiter say?
Everything else you want, the dessert menu.
Bring you the dessert menu. In other words, they're trying to save you to get a few more dollars. I want you to have that same mindset as a rental property owner. So the first thing that I do is I go and I ask them, what's one thing that we could do for you that would encourage you to stay longer? Notice, what's the magic word that I asked?
Encourage you longer.
One thing. In fact, when Ron brought up get deluged with service requests, if you ever get people contacting you and they want to give you a list, the first thing I suggest that you do is slow them down and say, you know what, Mrs. Jones, we'll be glad to assist you. But can you please tell me the one thing, one or two things that's most important to you at this time? I always do that when I get requests for service, because if not, people have a tendency to want to give you a list of things. So I always slow them down and say, what's one thing? So now back to the person leaving. I try to slow them down and say, what's one thing we can do that would encourage you to stay longer? Now, does that work all the time? No, but it's worth the effort because I've been able to save some individuals by doing that. And sometimes they say, well, it's not so much one thing, it's just we need a bigger place or a smaller place. Okay. Well, if they lost their job, it's not much I can do for that. But if they need a bigger place or a smaller place, some of them I go ahead and, since I've got several type places, I let them know, well, you know what, I'll put you on our priority waiting list. Notice I use the term priority. That's exactly what you do. Fantastic. All right. That's why you're not taking many notes, because you're already doing everything.
He said he has my book. He has the book.
Oh,
So I'm listening. I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes.
Oh, you are taking notes. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I'm just checking. Now, where were we? Oh, so let me put you on the priority waiting. Notice I use the term priority. What's the difference between a priority waiting list and a waiting list? Nothing. It's just a term. Sounds better. A lot of what I share with you, folks, is that communication is critical. Words matter. That's why I'm glad you're here. Because if you really take to heed what I'm sharing, don't just get the idea, but also hear me in terms of how it's being conveyed. So I try to save the person. By the way, request from people 60-day notice, not 30. Even if you're on a month-to-month, always request a minimum of 60 days. Always.
And sometimes I get flack for that.
Yeah? Now, you need to, what's your name, sir?
I'm Ken.
Ken? Ken, you see.
I've been in this for quite a while.
All right, Ken, but it seemed like you might be a little burned out a little bit there, Ken.
Oh, no, I got an honorary attitude towards it. I like to get on that bad side, because that's what I'm trying to fix.
Okay, all right. Well, hang with me on this. Hang with me. And I'm going to help you some. All right. I got you. But hang with me. Also, yeah, I'm your friend. Oh, he's mine? All right, back to where I was. Where was I? 60 days. Always ask for 60. Why is that important? Because if I can't save the resident, I want to have as much time as possible to get another resident there. So ask for 60 days.
Last time you get 12.
Yes, that helps. You're right. Comment was that's one of the ways that you can get it done within 72 hours. Yes, because I give myself plenty of advance notice to start advertising. In fact, speaking of advertising, just a side note, whether you have a few rentals or a lot, I would suggest that you always are doing a little bit of free advertising. Always, even if your places are filled. Always. Why? Because I always have people contacting us, trickling in. If we don't have anything available, fine. But at one point, we will. And along those lines, some of you are waiting to the time that you have a vacancy before you advertise. The only problem with that, hear me, is that you're getting people who need to move right away. Actually, those people are usually, percentage-wise, not the ones you want. You want the people who actually are planning ahead 3 months, 4 months, 6 months in advance. But so many landlords are discarding them because they wait till they have a vacancy before they advertise. And so when they call them up and you ask them, when do you plan on moving? And they say in 4 months, he says, well, I can't help you. And you move on. But that's the kind that you're looking for, the one who's looking for. So that's why I'm suggesting to you, always, see, I don't have, my mindset now, and this is just from hearing a training from another instructor on marketing, properties. She said, always have the mindset that you have something available or coming available. It's never a question of whether it's filled or not. I always have something coming available. Yes, ma'am.
So where do you have this ongoing?
Oh, there's Zumper doesn't charge. To give you an example, you could be marketing it on Zumper.
So do you actually put up a property or when you just?
What do you do?
Right, exactly. How do you do that?
Oh, I just put up a generic ad. 3-bedroom home, 2-bedroom apartment.
No pictures, nothing like that.
Oh, well, no, I have a picture of one of my houses. Or a picture of one of my apartments. They contacted us, said, at this time, that one's not available. It's a good chance either it or a similar one will be coming available in the future.
Okay.
When are you looking to move? They tell me in 4 months. Great. Ms. Jones, let's do this. Let's go ahead and get you to fill out our pre-approval form so that we can get you pre-approved, and then that way we can hold one for you that meets your satisfaction.
And you can work those people too.
There you go. Okay, so you're saying with Zillow,
Well,
they're still out there.
they're still out there.
All right, so the comment is with Zillow, ads are still out there and they may still contact you. But again, I'm not sure how that goes because I still use Zillow and I'm still paying the $10 a week, is it? In fact, be careful.
Yeah, I think they reduced.
Don't let that frugality mindset hurt you. Because I hear landlords, they say, oh, Zillow's paying $10, charging $10 a week, which is $40 a month. I said, but did you find any good residents through Zillow? Well, yeah, we found some residents through Zillow. And I'm thinking, well, duh, yeah, you could advertise on Craigslist, but are you getting anybody that you like from Craigslist? Are you getting anybody you like from Turbo Tenant? Are you getting anybody you like from Facebook Marketplace? If you are getting people you want from those places, great. But if you were getting a decent stream of qualified applicants from Zillow, I would not be so quick. $40 is really still relatively low. See, I'm old school. When newspaper advertisements used to cost me $200 or $300. So $40 is like...
Best applicant there.
No, but you got applicants.
You had to do it.
Yeah, you had to do it because that was the going thing before all the online stuff was going. But I did get some qualified applicants. I'm just saying $40 is not totally unreasonable. In fact, when I'm advertising, I'll even contact a real estate agent. And if I've got a place available and they bring me a lead, I'm willing to pay equivalent to a half month's rent if I can get it filled soon as somebody is moving out of the property. I'm paying more than $40 there. Of course, I'm only paying that out when they're bringing me a new person. But I'm just saying, don't let don't let frugality slow you down from getting people. Yes.
First of all, Zilla's now $14.95 for 2 weeks.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to check back with my son. Okay. Wait a minute, $14.95 for 2 weeks?
For 2 weeks.
Oh, so it's cheaper.
Yeah, you've got to stop the old one. You've got to delist it and then relist it. Now,
Okay, so let me make sure I said that, especially for people who are listening. Comment is $14.95 for 2 weeks. So that's only like $7.50 a week, but you got to stop
if you
the old
buy it now
listing,
for $19.95, you have to delist it and then.
delist it, and then start again. Okay, next comment.
Now, my next one is, I have noticed I call them the regulars, the people who for some reason are always looking for a place to
Okay.
live and always applying.
So what's the question?
How do you keep them out of the mix if you always want to be advertising?
That for me hasn't been a problem, so I don't know the answer to that question for you. I know of some landlords who tell me, I don't know if they'll get in trouble from a fair housing standpoint, but I know of some landlords who say they get contacts from people who contact them on a regular basis and they just block the call. So I don't know if will put you in trouble from a fair housing
I
standpoint.
do that when they get nasty.
Okay. Now, when you got people contacting you, for many landlords, and it's part of the training, but for many landlords, the first thing they have to do is they've got to go to a form on your website and fill out paperwork to see if they can be qualified to move to a showing or the next step. So it seems to me if you've got that in place and you see the same name, I'm assuming the only reason you didn't rent to them before was because they're not qualified, so they'll be not qualified again. But the point is, you didn't have to spend your time dealing with them.
That's true.
So that would be the suggestion that I would make to you. Yes, ma'am.
So going back to keeping your properties out there,
Keeping your properties out there,
even if they're full.
even if they're full.
So usually when I see something coming up or tenants are moving out, I usually let my tenants know, hey, pretty soon I'm gonna have
Okay.
an apartment coming up for rent. You know of anyone, and they applied and they approved, I'll give you a finder's fee.
Okay. So
that kind of helps in a sense.
So in keeping the word out there, you utilize your residents and remind them that we offer a finder's fee, a bonus of some kind, if you tell us about somebody and they end up moving into our property. And it's a good chance we will have something coming up in the near future, so please keep the word going.
So my phone's always, hey, we're looking, our
Excellent.
X, Y, and Z, let us know, make sure they're landlord. And
I'm with you. I'm with you. And again, as you hear this idea, you do it based on the number of properties you have. If you only have one home or two homes, then the amount of putting it out there will be less. I'm still suggesting that you still put it out there a little bit, maybe not every week, maybe not every month, but maybe not every couple of weeks, but maybe once a month, you're still putting some kind of advertisement out, or unless you got two people who you know is not going to be moving for another 2 years or 3 years. But so depending on the number of places you have, you use that strategy. But please, the mindset is critical. The mindset is critical that you may always have something available, and don't be quick to discount people who are 4, 5, 6 months down the road, because those are the kind of residents that you want. Oh, let me make sure we hit on the things. Request advance notification, procedures. So when a good resident gives notice, this is what I do. That's my procedure. First thing that I do is, after I try to save them, to see if there's one thing we can do for you, I offer them a bonus. If you help me get this place rented before you move out, we'll give you an extra $100 bonus on top of whatever deposit you are entitled to. So I offer a bonus to them. What does that do? One, they may tell somebody about the property, but the bonus isn't limited to that. I just want their cooperation. So I let them know when I call you to want to show it, make sure you allow us to show it. Or if I send somebody over, You show it. I'd rather have somebody go with them unless it's somebody that you give a script to and say, here are the key things I want you to share, and just limit it to this. And if you can trust them that they can limit it to that, because anything they say you could actually be held liable for, just from a legality standpoint. Yes, ma'am?
Yes, I have a tenant that even I offer her the incentive to give her money. She said, this is COVID, I don't want my kids to get sick. I don't want anybody to come.
Gotcha.
I'm having tough time showing my property.
So, I'm going to share with you an idea that comes a little bit later in the training, but we'll go ahead and talk about it now. My most important, to me, the most important criteria in filling a vacancy, for me, is cooperation level. It's more important than anything else. When I started making cooperation level the key thing, I haven't had issues in terms of what you just shared, where you said, oh, it's COVID, or whatever reason they might come up with. My husband's not here. It's not a good time. I work during this time, blah, 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 blah. I used to get that. Once I started making cooperation a key criteria for selecting people, now when I offer the $100, because they are cooperative people to begin with, they're willing to do the $100. So it can't help you with somebody you already have, but I would just strongly encourage you, and I would give you some specific things that you can do to find cooperation level, but I would strongly encourage you to make cooperation level a key factor when you're selecting your residents. Pictures ready to post. We talked about the importance. Where did I leave out? Managing from your residents' perspective, gain their cooperation, and I do that by offering the bonus. Move in ready while they're there. Move in. So here's the point for move in ready while the resident is there. Sometimes people wonder, how can I do this 72-hour thing? Because it's not move in ready. It takes more than 72 hours. When I do those 3-month and 9-month inspections, if there's some problems, if there's some damages, I take care of them then and charge the resident. I don't wait till they move out to charge them and take it out of their security deposit. My goal is that 9-month inspection, let's take care of the problems now. So that at the 12-month when you're leaving, I can focus on giving you your deposit back. I can focus on getting somebody else in here. I can focus on giving you a bonus. We don't have to deal with holes in the wall or whatever the case may be. Also, during the time that you're with me, I do anniversary upgrades to the property. So if carpet is really bad, we get rid of the carpet while you're there as an anniversary bonus. If there's painting that needs to be done because you've been there for 3 or 4 years, I do that as an anniversary gift while you're still there. So I'm taking care of some of these upgrades. I'm taking care of damages while people are still in the property. So when it comes time for them to move, it's less things that I have to deal with. I'll even send a contractor, a person that's working with me, over a week to 2 weeks ahead of time before your move, and I take care of the issues then with my own person. I don't wait till the person moves out. Sure, I might have to pay the contractor, my guy working with me, something to get it done, but I'd rather get it done so that it's ready for move-in as soon as these people move out. So that's just me, just giving you a different way. But what's the bigger point here I'm trying to make? Do all you can to get the property in move-in condition before the people move. Because, yeah, you can charge the people after the fact, but I'd rather get it ready, get it fixed, get the rents coming in, and then if I have to charge a resident for something, I still do it, but I got somebody in there instead of them sitting empty for 2 weeks, and now I'm fixing the property as I'm losing money. Is everybody with me on that? Yes. All right, big point. Preparing property for the next resident, reportance of assigning. Checklist, assigning. I've got one guy that I utilize for turns. For me, that works out well. He does all my turns, so he knows exactly what I'm looking for. Makes life a whole lot easier. This is just an example of one of the things I delegate. I like to delegate and assign people to specific types of jobs and have them do that same type of job over and over again. And this guy doesn't work for me full time. He just does something on a part-time basis. But he likes a little bit of extra cash. He knows exactly what I'm looking for. I tell him we've got a place that's coming available. I need you to go in before they move out, see what can be done before they move out, and then when they move out, I need you to get it ready within 24 hours. So it works out extremely well for me. So that's just an example of assigning or delegating somebody. Yes, ma'am?
Is that like a handyman type of person?
Yes, it's a handyman type of person.
Listing.
As opposed to,
I guess I just didn't know if that was someone that was
no, he's not marketing.
going to
He's,
start marketing and stuff like that.
no, he's just getting the proper, doing the painting, fixing any holes that might be there. He's just doing that kind of stuff. All righty? And even with him, of course, he does it so well now, I don't really have to do it. But when he first started doing it, guess what I gave him? Checklist. So he knows exactly what he's going in there to do. All righty? So this is what you do when you've got somebody in your property and I've got a vacancy. It all started with first trying to save them. What's one thing we can do? By the way, another sheet in your thing talks about here's the costs that are involved if you do move. Just in case you're not aware of it, here are the costs that you're going to incur. You know, you days off from work to move, might have to pay a higher deposit.
Only address changes.
Days off work, all the different things that it may cost you, utility deposits, and I mean they'll add up to several $100s, if not over $1,000. By giving them that letter, it may get them to change their mind. But again, if they don't change their mind, next thing I do is I want their cooperation. Here's a bonus if we get another person before your last day of occupancy. Be sure to, if you tell somebody about the property, that's one thing, but if nothing else, let me be able to show it, have something good to say. When I bring somebody over to the property, I specifically tell them that. It's in the letter. Be ready to say something good about the property or the neighborhood. Because I have found that when the resident says something good about the property, that's better than anything I can say. Also, during that 60 days, I'm definitely using didn't I see it here? Yeah, having pictures ready to post. You should have pictures of all your properties right now, whether you have 1 or whether you have 20 or whether you have 50. Good pictures. So I strongly recommended that idea that was said earlier about the photographer. I paid a photographer, and she only charged me, give you an example, $50 to give me a whole set of pictures for a property. I'd rather get the place rented while somebody's still living there, if at all possible. For me, it works out a whole lot better. And by having pictures that they can see in advance, works out great.
Should I pay $180 for a professional photographer?
You paid $180? All right, just to give you a different, so that's just a different idea. Anybody else paid a photographer just to get an idea of, yes? $100. $100? Yeah. Okay, and took a large number of pictures?
18 pictures.
18 pictures, okay. Anybody else?
I bought a new iPhone with a better camera.
No, the quality is unbelievably different.
All right. He said an iPhone was the next suggestion. Then,
No, the camera on the new iPhones are fantastic.
Okay.
You have the right camera.
Well, the quality is, they do some filtering, a professional photographer, the quality is vastly different.
That's not real.
all right. What's your comment?
I was just gonna say, I paid $200.
200?
For a video tour of the property.
Video tour. How many of you used a video tour?
I wish I paid the extra, because I'm getting requests for them.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you could have paid extra and got the video tour, but you didn't pay the extra. That frugality mindset kicked in again. All right. Video tours are becoming much more popular, by the way.
Particularly with COVID.
Yeah.
You'd only showed it to people who've been approved. So with COVID, that whole thing worked out really good with having the video tour. And what did you say you paid for a video tour?
$200.
$200. Okay. All right. How long is your video?
I don't know, it's maybe 5 minutes.
Okay. And I wouldn't make it too much longer than that. They say the ideal length of time is more like 2 to 3 minutes.
And can I just throw in,
Throw in real quick.
the difference between the professional ones and an iPhone is shockingly different.
Okay. All right. We're going to take a break at this time. Are we doing good so far? Yes. All righty. Filling vacancies. I alluded to this earlier when I asked somebody what's the first thing that you do if you have a vacancy. And the comment was, start advertising. What was my response? No. Now, you got an empty unit right now. Empty unit. No, got an empty unit. It's empty.
Determine who you want.
Okay, even more than, yes, determine who you want. Know your priorities. That's the key thing I want you to hit on. Know your priorities. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I gave a couple examples earlier. Let me mention them one more time. In other words, my priority might be more income. If my priority is more income, I go after somebody who's willing to pay me more income. Now, I want to really emphasize this because sometimes people, the first thing they do, landlords, is they see how much market rent is. And that's what they go for when they determine the rent and then they start advertising. I don't want you to even determine the rent until you know your priorities, because if you want more income, there are people willing to pay more. Turn to page 22, for example. There's a whole list there of individuals who are willing to pay you more than market rent. Some a little bit more, some a lot more. Pet owners. Any of you rent to pet owners? Okay, are you able to get more than market rent? Yeah. Pet rent, okay. Could be $50, $75. How much extra do you get? $25. I think you can get more than $25, just so you know. I would bump that up a little bit. Anybody else in terms of pet rent? How much extra do you get?
I get 40.
You get $40. I would say the going thing now is closer to 50, just so you know. Per pet, yes, 50 extra per pet. In fact, speaking of demand, right now the demand, by the way, we're asking everybody to wear masks.
Oh.
Just so you know.
I got it.
Oh, you traded seats.
You didn't want me anymore.
Okay.
I'm close to you.
All righty.
You're gonna want me to leave.
Oh my, I don't know if this is good news or bad news.
I gotta look.
This is Ken, right? Yes. Let's see, I've already learned his name.
I'm the reality-based landlord.
Okay.
Keep him in check.
Where were we? Pet rent. I'm saying, I was starting to say this. Yes, $50 is more the going rate per pet, $50 per month per pet. And I'm just sharing with you right now, demand is higher overall for rents. Demand is higher. If you have not raised the rent on your properties in the last year, and I'm not saying stop it, break your lease. I'm not saying break your lease when your lease is ending or on your anniversary date, as I like to call it. Increase the rent more than what you would normally do because of demand right now. I know of so many landlords that are getting $100, $200, $300 more on their rent from what they were getting just 12 months ago. I know for mine now, on average, a minimum of $100 I'm going up on my units and my homes. Okay, so I would highly encourage you to do so. Also, well, I'll get to that later. So on this list, pet owners. Oh, well, while we're on that, pet fee. What's the term I'm looking for? Not the deposit. I call it something else. Pet registration fee. In fact, I would suggest that you don't call it a deposit, call it a pet registration fee. There's no need to make it refundable. Pet registration fee. Also, on an annual basis, pet inspection fee. $35. Pet inspection fee. Now, you have your hand going up? No, that's not the same thing.
I was wondering what you think of this strategy instead of, pet rent or just, if it's a pet-friendly property, just increase the rent.
And don't even call it a pet fee.
Increase the security deposit by that much so that you kind of avoid all the fake letters.
All right, so the comment that's being made is, and it's a very valid comment, very good comment. So you're offering you're making it pet friendly. you're charging extra for the pet. However, in many areas, this is becoming an issue, more of an issue than others. But as soon as you tell them it's a pet, and say it's extra for the pet, they say, well, this is an emotional support animal. So the comment suggestion that's being made here is, forget all this about extra for the pet fee. If you're going to make it pet friendly and you want extra for a pet, and it's a good chance you're going to rent to a pet owner anyway, just go ahead and charge more rent. That way, if they come with the emotional support animal, it's not a question of, well, no, I'm not charging extra for a pet. The rent on this place is $1,200. So it's not like $1,150 plus $50 for the pet. No, the rent is $1,200. And it's a good chance, by the way, in the demand that we have right now, that even if they don't have a pet, they're not going to have a problem with the $1,200 anyway. So hope everybody caught that idea, because it's a very good idea. Forget all that about the pet rent. Just charge extra for the property, period. That way you don't have to deal with emotional assistance animals. Now, sometimes people ask me, Jeffrey, how do you deal with the fake letters that are given out for emotional support animals? What do you do? To be honest with you, I don't let that take up much space in my head. In other words, if they meet all of my other qualifications, if they meet all the others, and they say they got an emotional support animal, I'm not going to challenge them on it. Fine. Because if they meet all of my other qualifications, it's a real good chance that they're okay anyway. So that's how I handle it. I don't get into a back and forth of, well, make sure you bring me the doctor's letter or the letter that's showing that it's needed. I don't get into all that at all. People handle it differently, but for me, I just focus on my other qualifications. Because if I really don't want to rent to them, more than likely, it's going to be some qualification on there that they're not going to meet anyway. So no need to possibly get myself into a lawsuit situation because I'm denying somebody based on something that legally they have a right to. Yes?
Do not disagree with that at all. I do not disagree with that at all.
I got you.
In the same direction, but everybody's emotional support animals that will.
All right, so you say everybody's support animal is a pit bull, so what does that cost you to do? I mean, so in reference, I know you said that you go along with what I just...
Like you said, pre-check and
Yeah.
worry about all the other stuff first.
Yep. Oh, so you're just making a comment then. You go along with what I mentioned, but you're making the observation that pit bulls are becoming more and more a thing with emotional support animals. Gotcha. All righty. So on this list, pet owners, clients of insurance companies. Have any of you ever rented to a client of an insurance company? A couple of hands. I found out about that by mistake, by the way, where somebody called me up and said, Mr. Taylor, or they didn't say Mr. Taylor because they didn't know me at the time, but they said, we've got a client that's looking for a house to rent, and we see that you have one available. I work for an insurance company, and would you be willing to rent to someone for 9 months? When I first heard that, I said, I don't know about that, because my whole mindset was people got to be in the property 5 to 6 years. I wasn't thinking in terms of extra money. And he said, well, if you rent to us, we'll rent to you for 1.5 to 2 times market rent. Thank you, sir. 1.5 to 2 times market rent. And we'll pay you all up front for the length of time that they will need it. And we will guarantee against any damages. At that point, I said, well, you know what? I might be able to work with you after all. So now here's the thing. When you find a niche that works for you, now I make it part of my proactive steps. So I've got a list of insurance agents that I communicate with. I don't wait and hope that they just show up. In fact, one guy heard me speak, and he immediately went back to his home location, and he got a list. He created a list of over 100 insurance representatives in his area that work with clients when they need a place to stay. And that's the only way that he rents his property now, is doing it like that. So again, my big point here is, if you find a niche that works for you, I'm encouraging you to become proactive, be systematic in what you do, and reach out to them instead of hoping that those type, you luck up, so to speak, and get more of them. But professionals, I had a townhome. I could rent it for $1,000, but instead, I rented it to two single individuals for $800 apiece. Two professionals got $1,600 instead of the $1,000. In fact, when I was speaking recently, as I said earlier, in another location, there was a sponsor there, and they were called Pad Split. And what they do is they'll market for you if you've got a home that you can have 5 to 6 bedrooms. And they split up your house. That's why they call it Pad Split. They do all the marketing for you. And because of it, you'll get more than, they say, 3 to 4 times market rent, even when they keep a percentage of it. And they do the marketing for you. I said, wow, that's an interesting name. I said, because I've been doing Pad Split for the longest, but I never knew it was a fancy name that went with it. But again, just throw that out to you. So professionals, students, any of you heard of Dixie? What's Dixie's last? Decker? She talks about student rentals, where she gets anybody of you rent to students? One person? Okay. Student rentals can get you a whole lot more than market rent. If there's, you have to be careful from a zoning standpoint in terms of whether they will allow so many unrelated, because in some areas you can only have so many non-related individuals. Airbnb, vacation rentals, those attending a major event, medical students, temporary employees, airline flight crews, military, families, professional athletes, political campaign workers, international students. I like international students because they pay you a whole year up front. A whole year up front and get extra income. Contact the embassy in Washington, D.C. and develop a relationship there. But again, on my checklist, I have a whole list of those that I go after. So I pick the ones that I want. Somebody asked the question earlier, does it may vary based on your property? So for some of these, I may go after a particular niche, and for others, I may not go after that niche. I mean, Section 8, for that matter, is a niche. Yes, I do rent some Section 8 to some Section 8 residents. In fact, in my area, in some cases, I found that I can get more for Section 8 than I can for the traditional resident. And it varies from area to area, but I've been having pretty good success with that lately in terms of getting more than what I would get on the open market. Means I have to do may need to do some good screening. Doesn't mean that there's I'm not trying to put a knock against Section 8 residents, because there's good residents and bad residents in every category. The only reason I wouldn't want to do Section 8 is if the administrative side is a issue. But if the administrative side is working good, if they're able to do the inspections within a certain period of time, I'm able to work with that. In fact, after using that program, I've developed pretty good relationships with several of the inspectors. And the person who does my turns, who I've assigned to do the turns, he's got a great relationship. So they'll come out, and if they find a couple of little minor things that need to be done, they usually tell them now, go ahead, take care of it right now, and we'll still pass it. I can't overemphasize, by the way, the importance of developing relationships with whoever you're working with in the real estate business. And Section 8 is just one example in terms of the inspectors. Anybody see somebody on the, well, let me ask you, of those on this list, somebody said they've done the insurance. Can anybody tell me any of the other renters on there that you've rented to that's gotten you extra income? Who said Section 8? So you get more than market rent?
Huh?
You say you are able to get more than market rent? What area are you in? New Jersey. Okay. Somebody else, where you can get more than market rent?
Student pilot housing.
Student pilot, as in the planes?
Yes, international student pilot housing.
Wow. International student pilot? Now, it's one thing to have a niche The next big question is, how do you reach that niche? So how do you reach that niche? How did you reach it, or how do you reach it?
I actually looked out.
All right, so you actually lucked out. They reached out to you because they have classes near where you have rental.
Yeah, and they took care of all maintenance.
They took care of all maintenance, and you get more than market rent. Woo! Now, what would be so after hearing me, what would be my suggestion to her? She may be doing it, but what would I say to her? Because she said she lucked out at. Be proactive.
Solidify the relationship.
Solidify the relationship, be proactive, and reach out to whoever have a key contact or two, and continue that relationship. All right, excellent. I hadn't heard that one before. Anybody else? Where you go after a particular niche that's worked out well for you that pays you more than market rent. Those are 3 pretty good examples. Let me say this. Income is not always the top thing. It's not always, slap myself a little bit there, but income is not always the top thing. For example, there's been times in my investing career where less drama was more important to me. So because I knew that was my priority, I said earlier, I sometimes like going after older individuals. I would go after older individuals intentionally because they had less drama. And I knew that's what my priority was. And then I would fix it up with them in mind. See, one of the things about determining your priority is once you know what your priority is, it affects who you go after, how you advertise, how you may fix up the property. If you're fixing up it for an Airbnb or for a traveling nurse, that may be different than I would for an older individual or somebody with a pet. Somebody with a pet, for example, I may make sure there's no carpet on the floor. Get that all out of there if I'm going to be renting to pet owners. Of course, for me, I get all carpet. Now I remove carpet altogether, period. It's worked out. More and more people have allergies. I don't have to deal with carpet cleaning issues. And if somebody goes in there and they don't take care of it really well and I have to make a substitute, it's much easier when it's just flooring and not carpeting. So that was a side note. But less drama, older individuals. There's a time when in my investing career where maintenance issues, I said I ran into a situation where I almost got out of the business because of maintenance issues. Well, I wanted less maintenance issues, so guess who I went after? Contractor types.
Yeah.
That was one of those. I went after more of them. Now, there's a question about, well, you want them doing work on your property if they're really qualified? Yeah. But there is a liability issue there, having people do work on your property, so take that into account. But again, in my investing career, I didn't want to deal with a lot of maintenance. And so I found people who felt comfortable taking care of little minor issues. I still took care of the major issues, but I wasn't getting calls about a little this, a little plumbing this, and a little bit of that. And so that worked out well for me. Now that I've got somebody working full time, that's less of an issue. But again, I knew what my priority was, which is the point that I'm trying to convey. It affects rental price, advertising, preparation. With older individuals, I had grab bars installed in the bathroom. I wouldn't do that necessarily for just a regular rental, but I knew I wanted older individuals, so I put some grab bars in the bathroom. Advertised at bingo halls, specifically going after older individuals. So it affected how I advertised. Younger person, they're not so much they're not interested at all in grab bars, but they want Wi-Fi in the property. So we make sure we have Wi-Fi if I'm going after younger professionals. Now, advertising approaches. We talked earlier. I kind of call it 3 or 4 different approaches. One is the shotgun, load it up and shoot it off, boom. Shotgun is the Zillow. In fact, let's mention a couple of them here. That's where you go after anybody. Zillow, Facebook, marketing, Craigslist, Of course, that's becoming the Walmart of advertising. Quality of the resident, sometimes has to lacks a little bit. Zumper, I mentioned earlier. Turbo tenant. Rent links. Apartments.com. Can somebody think of another one that you might use just for shotgun advertising? MLS. Anybody uses MLS? One person? Okay, is that working out well for you though?
It is, it could be better.
It could be better. Of the shotgun advertising, anybody having good success with any of those? Facebook groups is another one, by the way. Zillow? Zillow's it for you. All right, so you'll pay that $14.95 for two every Tuesday.
I have
You pre-screen.
tried something.
Gotcha. So the whole process with Zillow is working out well for you. Do the application online, do the pre-screening online. So you're sold on Zillow. For now. And things can change. Did I see somebody else hand go up? Anybody have any success with any of these? Which one? Like her. Anybody else? Zillow as well? Zillow? Is anybody using any of the other things? You don't like. Which one you don't like?
Facebook Market.
You do not like Facebook Marketplace. Craigslist, nah. Okay. What's your comment?
Facebook Marketplace.
Facebook Marketplace
For me.
works out really good for you. Okay, so we got one person with. Oh, you like it too. Okay, now we got some. Had to hear somebody else say it first. So
Get tons of tire kickers.
get tons of tire kickers.
One thing I do like is
Okay. Comment is, it's real easy for someone who's not looking to share it with someone who is looking. That's a real good point, especially if he's connected to a circle of friends who are the niche that he would be interested in renting to. Real important. I got you.
and I don't give them the address.
Well, I was saying though, if you hit a person who has a circle of friends that are the kind that you would like to rent to, that can work out well. So I wasn't necessarily saying it was your circle of friends. All righty? I was just going along with your comment about telling somebody else. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Did I hit everything on that last one that I wanted to hit on? No. So in my investing career, I've evolved. At first, all I did was shotgun advertising. Then I went to niche advertising, which we've alluded to, where I went after particular markets. But now I go after, I don't solely, but I spend a few hours every month doing influencer marketing. To me, this has worked out extremely well. In fact, if you haven't heard me recently, please take note of this point that I'm making. For example, I like people who work. That's one of the niche I go after. But instead of going in the other scenario, shotgun and niche advertising, I'm advertising to the end user, the person who's going to apply. And when you do this, when you put out an ad, what do you have to hope? That that they apply, they inquire. Then once they inquire, you got to hope what? That they're qualified. And then if they're qualified, well, in fact, let's take a step back. You have to hope they inquire. Once they inquire, you have to hope that they like it. If they like it and fill out an application, you have to hope that they're qualified. And the hoping doesn't stop there. Once they move in, you still got to hope that they pay. So catch the difference here. I like people who work. So I take a few hours each month to do a little bit of research, find out employers near where I have rental property, and reach out to the HR department or a manager, or if it's a small company, I'll reach out to the owner and see if we can work a situation where I let them know I've got properties that are available. I'm even willing to offer a discount off the deposit if any of those you recommend to our properties move in. I'll even give a donation to the company if you recommend somebody. I try to work, but my whole goal here is to establish a relationship with influencers, people who can put me in touch, or who put the people in touch with me. So I had one HR person contact me recently. I'd like to come out and look at your properties. We've got a whole group of I-tech people coming in, and they're going to need a place to stay for the next 5 months, 5 years, for the next 5 years. And I just want to see what you have available. She came out, set up an appointment. She came out. She liked what she saw. She said, would you be able to do any kind of discount or something for our folks? I said, I can offer a discount off the deposit. Now realize, I'm talking to the person, that reduces our risk. What can you do to help us not be concerned about reducing the risk? She said, well, if there's ever a problem, we'll intervene on their behalf. I said, I can work with that. Now, let's call her Mrs. X. So now, and she takes my applications. She puts the company name, their company, on the application. So when those applications come to me, and I see the company name at the bottom, how do I feel? Great. Again, contrast this to the regular scenario. Applications come in. The people are already sold at this point. Why? Not because of the property, because of who? Mrs. X. And the company, I already know that their average salary will meet my minimum income requirement. So, one, the applications come in. They're sold on the property. In fact, they'll come and take a look at it, but they're really already sold. I already know that they're meeting one of my major criteria. And if there's a problem down the road, Mrs. X has already said that they will intervene. I don't have to hope that they're going to like the place. I don't have to hope that they're going to pay me. I don't have to hope. I don't have to do any of this hoping. I hope you catch what I'm sharing here. To me, it's worth taking a few hours each month to research influencers in my area. I like to rent to veterans. I work with a person over a veteran agency in my area. We'll call him Mr. D. Mr. D, in fact, I reached out to him a couple of months ago because anybody that I'm working with, I systematically, proactively reach out. Mr. D, I haven't heard from you in a while. You got any veterans that might need a place? By the way, government pays for the housing for these individuals. He said, you know what, Mr. Taylor? I actually have 75 that I just found out about that I have to house. Now, I don't have 75 places. I only got a couple of them. But he'll give me the cream of the crop because of the relationship that I've developed with him over the last couple of years. And when his people come over, they're not looking to see if they like the place. Mr. Dixon told me to come. So they come, they take a look at it, and basically they're just doing a courtesy look. Application, Mr. Dixon has already helped them fill out the application. This is a win-win deal. I don't have to worry about them liking the place. I don't have to worry about them meeting my qualifications. I still do screening to make sure there's no background information because every now and then there's a background piece of information that may block it. But for the most part, every time I get an application from Mr. D, I'm smiling. Yes?
Mr. D on the lease?
No, Mr. D's not on the lease.
Oh,
No, the person's on the lease.
oh.
Yeah, the person is on the lease. But the money's not coming from the person, the money's coming from a organization that's paying for it.
But if you don't have any,
No, can't go after Mr. D. But that has not been a problem. But no, I can't go after Mr. D. But if the person stops paying, guess who's going to help me help get that person out? I call Mr. D.
but if Mr. D fires that person,
If Mr. D fires that person,
Yeah.
no, Mr. D's going to help me get that person out. In fact, I had to actually have Mr. D help me get the person out a couple of months ago. Person kept paying, but all of a sudden they had a couple of dogs in the property and they weren't supposed to be there. So Mr. D intervened and helped get that person out. Said, Mr. Taylor, I value our relationship too much. So I'll get them housed somewhere else because you're one of my top landlords. And that's how he phrased it. And I want to make sure that our relationship stays strong. I don't want you to ever think that that's going to be a problem. So again, this is a good thing, folks. But again, it's because I'm dealing with an influencer. I did a convention a couple of months ago, well, back in July. Person raised their hand, got up and spoke. Said, I heard you speak a few years ago. I like that idea of working with someone who puts me in touch with, who puts their people in touch with me. So she said, I work with two different influencers. One, a parole officer. Now, that's not everybody's cup of tea. But for this person, because of her own background, she had a good rapport, so to speak. She felt good working with individuals. And so she developed a relationship with the parole officer. The parole officer said that if there's ever a problem, the parole officer will intervene. By the way, she says any place that she needs filled, she can use either the parole officer or she also works with, she's got a school nearby. She doesn't just go after the students. She goes after an administrator at the school who has an email list of the type of residents that she wants, whether it's medical students, international students, I can't remember what. But it was some set of students that she could reach out to. And so she would reach out, have those persons contact the landlord, and again, the people are already half sold on the idea. Again, I can't overemphasize how much the influencer, for me, it's making life so much easier to fill my vacancies now. I'm getting the kind of people that I want to rent to because of the relationships that I have with the influencer. Guy told me a story about a basketball coach. He was near a college. He developed a relationship with a basketball coach. The basketball coach said, if there's ever a problem with any of those I refer to you, I'll suspend them. But we have new students coming in every year, and I need a place for them to stay. And so he worked out a deal with the landlord. Landlord was happy. If there was ever a problem, he just went to the basketball coach, and the basketball coach took care of it. Again, he's not having to deal with all kinds of students. He's just dealing with the influencer. Another person told me, well, I even had a thing where I worked with a Church's Chicken, owner of a Church's Chicken. He would, I'd say to him, I've got places that's right near your store, so to speak, your franchise. He said, well, that's great, Jeffrey, because I want to have my managers live near where they work. I'll pay their deposit. I want them to be able to get to work in case a car breaks down, so this is great. So I worked out an arrangement with him. He paid the deposit. If there was ever a problem with rent, I contacted the owner and he made sure it was paid. But again, I'm dealing with the influencer who would send me a manager every 2 or 3 years, a new manager that's coming into the area. But it's all going back to the influencer. And once I got an influencer, what's his last step? Systemize the marketing. Which means I'm proactive and I reach out to that influencer once a month, once every 2 months, once every 3 months, whatever works to you. So those are 4 steps there that I've evolved from. Shotgun advertising, which I still do because of the question that was asked to me earlier. Because if you only went after one particular market, you could get in trouble from a fair housing standpoint. If they said, oh, it looks like all you're doing is renting to senior citizens. It looks like all you're doing is renting to whatever. That will not be the case with me because I'm still renting to more than just one niche. And I'm also advertising to to more than one niche. But my advertising has evolved from not just doing that, not just doing niche advertising, but now I do influencer marketing and I systemize it. And that last sentence, I hope you really catch it. Most landlords focus too much on who they don't want and not enough on who they do want. See, I spend my time focusing on who I do want. What's the difference? It used to be 80% of the people who approach me are the kind I didn't want. But I still had to go through all the time and hassles. And when you're just doing shotgun advertising, you may go through a couple of 100, 300, 400 people before you finally get a person. With me, if I go through 20 before I find a person, that's rare now. Usually within 5 of those who approach me, one of them I'm going to rent to because they're coming from somebody that's already basically pre-qualified them. Everybody catch the difference? All right. So you adapt that in whatever way, but I just wanted to
Can I just ask one question on that?
hold on to that thought because I got to make sure I cover a certain amount before lunch. Fill in vacancies. Prepare the property. Just a couple of comments here. Start with the exterior, always. Always. Because people may drive by. People, we've got the pictures online, but people still might want to go by the exterior. I get a lot of people who respond simply because there's a for rent sign out in front of the property. I still use for rent signs from time to time. So they see the property from the outside. So I want to definitely, they might not get in there right away because people are still living there. Oh, and I get permission from the residents to put the for rent sign up while they're still living there. I don't wait till they move to put the for rent sign up. Why is it to their advantage, by the way? That bonus. So they don't care about the for rent sign being out. In fact, they'll call me up, Mr. Taylor, we're getting close to my move-out date. How come you haven't called us to show it to somebody? I want to get that move-out bonus. Well, Mrs. Jones, have you told anybody about it? But fresh paint. And then go to the interior. Fresh paint, just so we can get a look at trends. Shades of gray have been popular, but I'm curious in this room, just to get feedback from you. What colors are you using now to paint the interior of your property that you find are working well for you? Anybody? Pardon me?
Gray matters.
Gray matters.
Exquisite gray.
Is it with the AY or EY?
What's this? ER.
All right. Anybody else? Yes. Agreeable gray. So it sounds like gray is still pretty popular. It kind of took the place of beige.
I think beige is making a comeback.
You- Beige is making a comeback.
Still got it. We're gonna take later now.
For beige.
Another color?
Shades of green,
Shades of green.
well, the right color.
But is that the name of the paint?
No,
Oh, so you're just saying in general shades of green.
Yes.
That's working for you?
yes.
Is it a dark green, light green?
Like a light green.
No, not mine. Anybody else? All right, is everybody else just using the antique white, the beige, the white, the cream? Blue?
Yeah, light blue.
Okay. All right. Nobody else got a suggestion? All right, let's keep it moving. Lights. When I'm showing the property, I find it helps if it's really lit, if you got the electricity on in the property. More lights, the better.
Hey, Jeff,
Yes?
back to paint real quick. The one thing that I've most appreciated with the property that I took over,
White trim,
and then light beige.
light beige on the walls.
Well, this particular property
Bleached
had
sand.
maybe it was beach sand. Never mind.
Beach
Something
sand.
Like that. But anyway, so it just made.
Okay,
I'm gonna.
I got you. All righty. I heard her really up here toward the front.
No taping off needed, things like that.
Okay, all righty. So you're using the same color, but a different finish, you said, or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
generally.
But using the same color does help from an economic standpoint.
Yeah.
Makes it easy to turn. You can buy in bulk and keep those colors and use it again the next time. But you found that that works good for you.
If you're painting all the walls and you just need to touch up some of the
Yep,
trim,
totally
you
agree.
can use the same finish you were already using.
Does anybody do anything to add elegance to the property? Elegance in any way for maybe more of an upper end. My wife, she loves to put, what do you call it? Backsplash. Adds a lot of elegance to the property when she puts those on, puts that in the kitchen. Pardon me?
I use them.
You use them?
I'm using the Duma wall,
Okay,
and they got a few other ones, but just click together.
yep, all right.
Waterproof.
Backsplash, yes.
I'm gonna go back to Allure, I know it's being discontinued, but
Allure flooring.
yeah,
Yeah, but it is being discontinued, isn't it?
it is being discontinued. And the next one's going to be light-proof. Rubber, it is rubber. Condo that's flooded.
All right. I put a swirl ceiling. I put a swirl on the ceiling, add elegance to it. People like that a lot. Doesn't get messed up either because it's on the ceiling. Yes.
Under elegance, I guess would be nicer plumbing fixtures,
Nicer plumbing fixtures.
closets, nicer toilet,
Push button toilet? What did you first say? Nicer?
nicer plumbing fixtures like faucets in the kitchen and bathroom. No,
What brand do you use? Delta? No?
Delta, yeah.
Okay. Nicer plumbing fixtures. Anybody do LED lighting?
I was just gonna say lighting, especially that spotlight lighting in the kitchen.
Spotlight lighting in the kitchen. Those are all things that add to the elegance of the property. Smell. Anybody do anything to add to the smell? Give me an example. Air refresher? Air refresher. Air freshener.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Any particular scent?
Yeah, cinnamon.
Cinnamon. Apple cinnamon.
I use linen.
You use linen.
Clean linen,
Clean linen.
yeah, those plug-ins,
Plug-ins. Okay.
oil wick things.
Oil wick things. Okay. Again, some of you taking notes on these different things. See, you want people when they go in to your property to say, wow. You want it to stand out from the rest. They're either saying one or two things, folks. They're either saying wow or whoa.
But I don't know how you're getting all that done before you get your tenant out.
Oh, some of these things you can't get done before you.
You can't do that.
Well, hopefully, though, for some of them, it's already there.
Right, most of mine are, but
Okay?
my contractors aren't gonna walk in there and do any of that.
Well, mine's going to go in and they're going to paint it. In terms of the lights, no, they're not going to start changing the lights unless it was an anniversary upgrade from the year before that's already there. Smell, I don't do that till they move out anyway. Anybody do staging on an empty? You do? Okay, what do you put in with the staging? Bathroom towel, maybe the rug,
Kitchen towel.
kitchen towel.
Like flowers.
Do you put a shower curtain?
Oh, yeah.
Shower curtain. Oh, yeah, okay. All righty.
Got a queen size air mattress.
Queen size air mattress, and you put a sheet or a blanket on it.
Put it up on buckets and it gives you the size of the.
Puts it on buckets and gives you the look, the size of what a.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Oh, we got lots of good ideas. That's what I'm asking.
I just have one thing about.
I'm sorry. What was the last thing you said?
Couple pieces in the living room.
Couple of pieces in the living room.
And get a front porch with a couple chairs.
Front porch with a couple of chairs. And do you find it's helping to rent your place faster, or get more income?
I think so.
You think so? All right. So what would be my challenge to her?
Well, you can ask for it again.
Go back and ask. Ask people, did the staging of the property, did the look of the property make a difference when you came and took a look at it? See what they say.
I just want to say we.
Yes, no, didn't make a difference. Uh-oh.
I just had a lawsuit about
Oh, my goodness. You had a lawsuit.
No, I did not. I did
Okay.
not.
She heard a lawsuit about somebody who sat on an air mattress and hurt themselves. Yes.
So when I stage the air mattress,
Oh,
this is a staging purpose.
okay. All right. So to help cover yourself, you put a note on your mattress. Please do not sit. This is for or lie down. This is for staging purposes only. All righty. Wow factors. Anybody, let's give a couple examples. Granite countertop, anybody do, or do you find it's worth it? See, nobody shaking their head on that one? Pardon me? You do it because from a maintenance standpoint. Ceiling fan. Okay, how about something as simple as a ceiling fan? I like them. They're still reliable and they
actually work.
yeah. That's an annual upgrade. Okay, all righty. Pest treatment. Does anybody do pest treatment before the people move in? I started making that a standard thing now. Whether there was problems with pests or not, we do a pest treatment. And we let them know a pest treatment was done, especially since I'm making you responsible once you move in. So I only saw a couple of hands. How many?
Yeah.
Okay, about half the people.
And I have them inspect for bed bugs.
You have somebody come in and inspect for bed bugs. So if you ever have somebody challenge you,
And they sign off saying there are no bed bugs.
the next resident signs off, or the pest person
Pest person.
says no bed bugs.
Don't have a certification for that yet.
Okay. Anybody else doing that? Because I've heard that being recommended by a few landlords now in some of the trainings I've done.
It's very expensive to get rid of bed bugs.
It is. It is. What state are you in?
Florida.
Florida. Okay. All righty. So that's a suggestion. If you're in an area where bed bugs are starting to become a problem, not necessarily your place, but in the area, you might want to consider having a pest control company come out and certify that there's no bed bugs. That way,
Are they holding the landlords responsible in most states? I kinda
for single-family homes, no. For multi-units, yes. Not for single-family homes.
That's my understanding.
Double check on it. I could be wrong.
Black Hawk County.
Okay, double check. In fact, I should share this. Everything that I've been saying that's been shared, for those that are listening, for you that are here, let's put out a disclaimer. Laws do vary from state to state,
And county to county.
county to county. So, check your laws before implementing any of the ideas that you're hearing. Okay? We're trying to give a multiple number of ideas so that you have many options to choose from, but please check your state before implementing any ideas if there's a question about legality. All right. With that said, cleaning detail. Before I got the guy who was doing my turns now, I used to have fix up the property, but the cleaning still was not quite right. So I actually paid somebody to go in and clean it after we turned it. And just pay them $50 to do so, and it would work out really good. They just would go in behind right before the next person moved in and just did one final cleaning. I don't know if any of you do that, but for me, for a period of time, that was working extremely well. Now the guy that I use is more focused on making sure when he finishes that he goes those extra steps. But the person I was using before that, I don't know, for some reason guys aren't, and I don't want to be stereotypical, but guys are not quite as detail oriented when it comes to cleaning. At least that's been my experience. All right. Again, assign the same turn guy and give checklists to the contractors. Multiple marketing methods. The next thing I can suggest to you, beyond using that influencer, shotgun, niche, influencer, is have multiple methods that you're using. Have multiple methods that you are using. And I list some of them. Ongoing. Well, ongoing simply means that you're doing them, something's going on all the time, which is what I referred to earlier. Page 31 talks about social media marketing. Here's the point I want to make. Many landlords, and I said this earlier, don't wait to start cranking up your advertising. Don't wait. Do a little bit all the time so that you always have calls trickling in. Keep looking to test and improve your marketing. Ineffective marketing, no budget, plus lack of multiple approaches are three of the biggest reasons for long vacancies. A lot of times when I ask people, okay, you got a vacancy, what are you doing to fill it? They say, well, I put an ad on Zillow or I put an ad on here. What else are you doing? That's all I'm doing. And that's the biggest reason, oftentimes, for a vacancy. People are simply not doing enough things. So that's why, where is it, page 31? Where in this procedures manual, in fact, if you go to 23, I also break down different niche markets there. Section 8, government workers, older persons, empty nesters, working professionals, handyman type, military personnel, law enforcement. Why do I like law enforcement? Because it scares away the people I don't want. Parents of children who attend nearby schools, residents with special needs, pet owners, airline attendants, residents who deal with very small apartments, corporate leasing, residents who are already living or connected to the local area. Sometimes people tell me, what does that mean? Sometimes people tell me, I'm in a tough neighborhood, marginal neighborhood, hard to rent area. How do I get people to rent in these areas? My suggestion, find people who are already comfortable in those areas. They go to church there, they work there. Okay, go to school there. I found that's the best way to deal with hard to rent areas, marginal areas, economy rentals. Because if you're just putting out blanket advertising, I used to get people calling all the time, but as soon as they found out where the area was, they'd hang up or said, I'm not interested, no thank you. But when I started reaching out to the businesses in the area, the churches in the area, and I don't say for churchgoers only, but I say, can I put an ad in your weekly bulletin? Can I put something on your bulletin board? Nothing about the church, just about the property. It worked out well. Again, I'm going after people who are already familiar, especially employers. If I got a property in a marginal area, I'm going to see if there's some employers within 2 miles of that property and try to reach out directly to those employers. So those are just examples, and my examples are there for you as a starting point. I want you to come up with your own, using some of those, or your own niche areas. But I'm encouraging you, start thinking more about who you want, not who you don't want. And then that takes us on to page 31, I guess it is, that has the multiple marketing methods. Well, actually, it starts before that. No, actually, the multiple marketing starts on page 28 or 26. Marketing to your current residents, as somebody expressed. Marketing to prospective residents on the application. There's a question on my application that says, do you know of anybody else that is interested in renting a property right now? I've been able to rent to some people simply because they were told by somebody else who was applying to my property. But these are just different examples of multiple, because I'm going to use as many methods as I can. So, and with my current residents, I'll put a door knocker on their door every 3 months. Why am I doing that? That says you get a bonus if you refer somebody. Because I'm systemizing. I've got a process. So I don't have to think about it. Call them or whatever. Every 3 months, we put a door knocker on their door that says, refer a friend and get a bonus. Trying to encourage my current residents. But I got a process. I got a system for doing it. I'm trying to encourage you to have systems in what you do, whatever marketing you decide to do. Market to neighbors. I got a flyer in your booklet that talks about if you know somebody interested in moving to the neighborhood, let us know. We'll send that letter out every so often. Marketing to buddy landlords, local businesses, corporations, local churches, real estate brokers. Marketing to other professionals, insurance companies. I'm using as many different strategies as I can. I don't want a place sitting empty. I told you one of the biggest reasons people don't get their place rented is because they're not doing enough. Simply, they're not doing enough. And then the different tools. Media, internet, handouts, utilities, applications, utilize, applications to the fullest. All right. So use multiple approaches. Get help from others. Keep looking and testing.